hi guys. Leah, very grateful, very, very grateful, compulsive eater and bulimic. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day from our gray sheet. I write those meals down. I turn them over to my sponsor. I don't eat anything in between, no matter what. Abstinence is absolutely the most important thing in my life. And my abstinence date is November 6th, 2020. And I suspect that this is going to be punctuated by baby noises. Maybe not. Are you going to cry? I don't know. I think she might start crying. She's 4 months old and she is now coming into the world. I'm learning babies cry. It's not something she did at the beginning. Um, so there you go. I forgot what I was saying. That I think I need a t-shirt that says I forgot what I was saying. They should just get that for anyone who has a newborn. What was I saying? No, but truly, I know what I was saying. I was saying abstinence is the most important thing in my life because it is. Um, and yeah, so I had 5 years on November 6th. And thank you. It's it's insane because the year preceding November 6th, I really almost died from just eating myself to death. And I was trying to explain that to someone. I was trying to explain that to my sister-in-law the other day because she calls what we do disciplined. And I was trying to explain that I am like one of the least disciplined people I know. I have the least self-control. But if somebody told you, drop and give me 20 with a gun to your head, it doesn't take discipline to pump out 20 push-ups. It just takes a healthy, like not wanting to be dead. And one would do that right away, theoretically. Like if someone said drop and give me 20 with a gun to your head, it wouldn't take a year of consideration. You just do it, right? It took me it not to be fair, it wasn't a year. I found out about Gray Sheet in March and my abstinence date is November, but I didn't get it right away because I couldn't. This really is a deadly disease. And I said to my sister-in-law, I know that if I ever were to pick up again, I might have another year of life like on earth, but also emotionally, I would just be dead right away because all of a sudden, instead of being in the room with my sister-in-law and my daughter and my nephews and my husband, as we were in that moment, I would be in my head. I'd be thinking about exactly what I'm going to go get to eat. And then how am I going to keep it from you? And how am I going to get rid of it? And where am I going to find the money for that? Because I also have to keep it for my husband. And it wasn't just like a full-time job. It's the most exhausting, devastating, like life defeating experience. And it's so sneaky because it's food. So, I feel like I don't even know what I've said, and we only have 11 minutes left. But I was trying to think about what are the things I wish I would have known when I came in to Gray Sheet. And the first one is I really didn't need to fix myself before I got abstinent. I remember when I first came in, I don't know if this is always a thing or if it was just like in vogue when I came into Gray Sheet, but a lot of people I came in with were like, maybe we should go do a different fellowship to like work on our emotions and our like childhood stuff before. Maybe that's why we're not getting abstinent. No, I was not getting abstinent because I was the sickest food addict in an OA meeting and I needed the Gray Sheet. I it had nothing to do with my childhood trauma because I'm still working on that stuff and I get to be abstinent anyway. And I think a big part of that belief that I needed to leave and go do the work in another program or, you know, was it a kind of therapy I needed to do was I honestly didn't feel worthy of being abstinent. And the the way that I was abusing and killing myself with food was what I felt like I deserved. So then I also want to say to that version of me 5 years ago, I still don't necessarily believe I deserve to be abstinent. It doesn't matter. Like, I just weigh and measure my food. That's it. The food, the food, the food. Um, and what has helped so much, and I didn't have this when I first got abstinent. I didn't have my sponsor is one of my favorite people I've ever met in my whole life, but she couldn't have been my sponsor when I came in because I was afraid of her because she was so cool. I was so intimidated. So instead, my sponsors were people that I felt like I deserved, and they were mean to me. And there's a place in Gray Sheet for mean sponsors, I guess, because I came in with such low self-esteem. I wouldn't have known how to have a kind sponsor. I wouldn't have maybe even wanted a kind sponsor. I wouldn't have wanted a kind program. And it's not what I had. I did not have a kind Gray Sheet. I had a scary Gray Sheet. I had a punishing Gray Sheet. When I first came in, I had a run of abstinence that I look back on, and it was just like, it was so simple and it was so like cute, but I couldn't have lived on it. And the last 5 years, so much has changed. My food has changed. Obviously, lots of no matter what's because life is life. I think I'm just going to be jumping around my whole share because I keep thinking of random things to say. One of the things is that the sponsor I eventually landed on, who was my sponsor for a long time and who's so sweet and so gentle and so amazing, she's not in our program anymore. And sometimes I'll reach out to her and, you know, she's not abstinent and she's suffering. And I'll say, I'll sponsor you, come back. Like, we love you and we all miss you. And the difference is that when I came in, it didn't matter what version of Gray Sheet I was doing, the mean version, the nice version, the kind where I have to call in every single morning at 5:30 a.m. or can I text myself, whatever I'm doing. I'm a Gray Sheeter no matter what. Like, I know we don't eat no matter what, but even if I eat, I'm still not leaving. I'm a Gray Sheeter no matter what. And I knew that when I came in, I've never doubted, I've never left. Like, even when I was in relapse, I didn't leave. I still called my next meal into my sponsor, even if I called her 8 times a day. Um, and that's something that I see in my old sponsor is she tussles with whether she's a Gray Sheeter or not. And I guess that's a lucky thing. I came in and I just knew from the way that this program was described to me. And it was described to me that we have 3 meals a day, that we have, like, when I heard the amounts that we got to eat, I knew I was in the right place. When I saw the Gray Sheet or when I was told what foods are on the Gray Sheet and what foods aren't on the Gray Sheet, because I didn't have one at the beginning, it just clicked. And I knew, wow, the solution exists. I don't have to keep messing around anymore. And that was a huge relief. So yeah, I think that helped too. Just knowing when I got here, never to leave, no matter what. And if I ever lose my abstinence, I'm still not going to leave. There's nowhere else to go except, well, the grave, probably. Something I've been thinking about recently is ever since becoming a mom, 4 months ago, which is insane, I have thought, like, there have been new experiences that I've never had before. And I've thought, I understand why people leave. Like, in a humbling way, I now get why people before me have left and then come back. And I'm really, really, really grateful that I know people who have left and come back, because I'm not going to do it because they did it. And I know how hard it was. Like, I know that I would be the kind of person who would leave, and maybe it would be okay for a little bit, but then life would come in. And maybe it would be a day later, maybe it would be a week later, maybe it would be 9 years later. But at some point, I will need this program again, and I might not get it. Or if I get it, I might suffer trying to get it for, I don't know, 20 years. Like, I think I have a huge, huge, I'm standing on the shoulders of, like, infinite giants here.
Excuse me, Leah, 5 more minutes.
Thank you, Susan, because I get to hear such a diversity of different experiences of staying and leaving and refusing to come and then admitting that it's what was necessary. I've heard so many honest and courageous stories that I see myself in all of them. And I also want to say I'm lucky that I have a really, really, really supportive partner who loves Gray Sheet as much as I do. Like he my sister came home for Thanksgiving, and my sister is a very abusive. She's got a lot of mental health issues. She has issues with food, and she hates Gray Sheet. And the things she says about Gray Sheet are devastating. They're horrible. And so I said to some people in my family, like, do you guys agree with her? Like, what are you guys all thinking about this and not telling me? And one day my husband said to me, stop asking other people what they think about the Gray Sheet. Who cares? Like, it's saving your life. He just had a word with me. And I don't think it ever would have kept me from staying, but it's like, it doesn't matter what anyone else's opinion is about it. And it was my husband who said that to me because he is protective and just obsessed with this program and abstinence because he saw what the alternative is. Um, Another thing that I was afraid of when I first came in, I came in during COVID, and I was like, well, how am I going to go out for meals? And I remember there was a woman I asked, how do I go out for meals in Gray Sheet? And I remember she said to me, are you going out for a meal today? As far as I understand, we're not allowed outside. So why don't you worry about it like when we're not in the middle of a global pandemic, which was the right answer, right? We do this a day at a time. But having said that, I just went out for a meal with I on Thanksgiving, we went for a walk with our dog, and I saw a couple who had a dog who looked like our dog, but we got our dog in another country. So I was like, how did you get that dog who looks just like our dog? Turns out they got it in the other country. So they had just moved. And so we decided, oh my God, we should all go out for brunch together. And we went out for brunch with these people. And um, I weighed and measured my food in front of them. And I used to worry about that. So what do I say? What if they ask this? What about that? And they didn't ask. I don't even remember it if I must have said something, but I don't even remember what I said. A lot of the things that I worried about when I came in, it's just not a thing anymore. And that was something that my old sponsor says to me when I invite her to come back. She's like, but it's just so hard. I'm like, 5 years in, it's not hard. It's actually really easy. It would be harder not to. Like, I think about this is probably all I have time to say, but I think about my mom's refrigerator, and it's really stressful because she doesn't make grocery shopping the most important thing in her life. And she lets other things, like being a gray sheeter, I think does require a certain level of discipline. I'm not a disciplined person, but Gray Sheet has made me disciplined. And life just runs more smoothly because the requirements to show up for Gray Sheet are just like a little bit higher. And so I have to show up a little bit more.
Excuse me, at 1 more minute.
1 minute left. Thank you, Susan. That little countdown is so helpful. I will end on saying, I've had a ton of no matter what's, and I won't end on saying that. I will end on saying that I had a Gray Sheet pregnancy. I had a Gray Sheet labor. I had a Gray Sheet birth. And no matter what anyone in your life might think, my doctors are obsessed with the Gray Sheet. Every time I went in for an appointment, it was a healthy pregnancy. Every time I went in for anything, it was all good news. Labor was easy. Like, I spoke to as many Gray Sheeters as possible going into it and heard tons of different experiences. And what I ended up doing was eating my dinner as I was in labor between contractions. And then about an hour later, throwing all of it up. So you know what? We don't eat. I'll end in saying we don't eat no matter what, but that's really the only no matter what. Like, everything else at this point is up in the air. And we have another Gray Sheet baby. Ooh, ooh. So thank you for letting me share.